Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I'm recording this on the day that I finished the previous Blue Lock video, and I was working on that from like 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m. Went to Chili's, absolutely obliterated a chicken bacon ranch quesadilla with buffalo ranch sauce on the side, loaded mac and cheese, Coke. You know the deal. And if you don't get that, 5-piece crispy meal with the fries, also loaded mac and cheese on the side. And if you don't get that, triple dip, like I got plan A, B, and C. But I did that, and I was playing Elden Ring. And if this was like a super big episode in terms of like crazy plot development or something, I would have probably reacted to it. But I looked in the comments briefly without spoiling myself. It didn't seem like people were acting like this was the greatest episode in Court 3. So I was like, let me just take it easy and let me just do a review. But you know the whole spiel, second channel, this channel, podcast channel. And yeah, this episode starts with, I guess, an alternate version of me trying to spit game to find shite. I mean, this is just, what a great start to the episode. I guess this is Nanao's tantalizing mother. Like, I feel like I would find her in the middle of a Barnes & Noble, reading a nice fiction novel, sipping on a venti latte from Starbucks, and I would just come up to her, shake her hand, introduce myself. This would be a very respectful interaction, and then I would ask her out, and our date would entail a nice walk on the beach and dinner. That's it. Nothing too crazy, but it would be one of the best days of my life, at least. One of the best days. I don't know. I'm sure she gets asked on many dates, but no. So it was looking like this was Shunsui's backstory, and I was kind of happy to see it. It was nice to see the like where his relationship with Nanao kind of originated and why they are so close as like a captain and vice captain duo. And we pan back to the I'm gonna look up an O word really quick. Give me 1 second, please. I couldn't really find an O word to go with this, so I'm just gonna go with outstanding. No, I was just looking for something new. But Shunsui, as he's stargazing at, you know what, he gets his satellite laser dropped in through his abdomen. And I'm gonna be honest, with Deb started the episode like this and then goes straight to the flashback, I thought he was dead. I was like, no way. Because obviously it's G.I. Joe in his corrupted form. And I guess he did kind of just fall to the abyss and we didn't actually see him like die. So I should have expected him coming back. Man, we see Tampon come back mad as hell, screaming about how you can't kill God's messenger, whatever nonsense he was talking about. And then we go back to, ow! I'm sorry, dude. I mean, honestly, if I was G.I. Joe and these things were just out and about, I would have came right back too. This battle went from Shunsui versus G.I. Joe to God's messenger versus God's gifts. Double G's. I'm taking the gifts in 4 games. This is a 4-0 sweep. But no, so he turns into some dinosaur and he raises up his hand and harnesses the energy from the sun and just beams that shit right at Kiraku. I didn't think he was done here, but judging by the scale of this ability, I didn't know how the fuck they were taking this nigga out. But I also wasn't thinking about the fact that we've never seen Nanao's like quote unquote Zanpakuto at all. And I don't know if they've ever hinted at it, like the whole family lineage thing that she had going on with it, but I really just didn't know like how they were going to overcome this obstacle. And we see Kiraku get away and he's got Ohana behind him again. And she's like all up whispering in his ear. If she was in my ear like this, I would have went to sleep quick. She was telling him to get some sleep. I would have gotten a full 8 hours and a nap afterwards. If she was whispering in my ear like this, touching my shoulder, I feel the goosebumps right out of my chair. Taicho, wake the fuck up! No. Thank goodness you didn't get... That shit doesn't matter. Just hand me my sword. Hurry up! Forget about the promise you made to my mom.
Well, what do we have here? So your little lieutenant has returned. Sorry to break it to you, lady, but your captain's a fraud. Bitch, even. I can't forget that. That's number 1. Bitch, then fraud. Number 2. What's number 3, though? Ugly? I can't even say it. I'm gonna be honest. He's got some caramel coolness. But that caramel is about to be burned in about 10 seconds after I give my whole spiel right now. Your captain tried to get your ass to safety and I guess you don't value your life. So that must mean it's up for grabs. So I'll be taking his and yours. I hear something coming in the distance.
And this dude popped a mega solar beam. But they escape into the Shadow Realm. And the lore that we got here was very cool. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know that his other Zanpakuto, the little girl with the mask, I thought that shit was a mask. I didn't know that on her face was a shadow. That's really fucking cool. But G.I. Joe turns into a Dan-to-Dan UFO and tries eliminating the shadows, but then her coming out of the shadow on his beak, this shit was hard. Like that goes to show how busted this nigga's ability is. But before they have their little final clash, we got the backstory for Shunsui and Nanao. It was wholesome, kind of sad too, with Shunsui saying that like he only receives keepsakes from people who are like about to pass away, being his older brother from the curse of Nanao's mom and Nanao's mother herself with the sword. But seeing them transition from that backstory to then the present where Nanao is point blank with G.I. Joe and then gets like solar flared, where the OST that they're playing, man, this show just knows how to invoke emotion, bro. And maybe it's like because I'm only watching like Dawn to Dawn, Blue Lock, like more upbeat, positive shows. I mean, I was watching Arcane and that had a lot of sad moments too, but there's something about the Bleach OST, and I think it's like most of it's by the same guy, right? There's Shiro Sagisu, unless that's just like a collective, but I'm pretty sure it's one dude. And like the Bleach OST plus the character emotions, like the relationships between characters seem so well mapped out. The reason for him wearing the kimono and the hairpins and like having that different look compared to all the other Soul Reapers, and how he has his two swords and how his shadow was hiding her sword because of the like everything about it, plus the OST and her saying that her mother wanted to lift the curse, but she's willing to accept it, even though the person she admires would say the curse is silly anyway, being Shunsui. Give me a fucking break, nigga. Like every single like relationship between, I'm gonna cry. And then we see her unveil the sword, and it turns out it's a light sword from Citadel Daymore.
What is that sword? It's quite shiny. I can't even see the blade. Why is that so bright? Oh my goodness. That's just glistening like my bust down rollie I left back at home. Damn.
Oh, it's bright for you? That's good. Because rumor says that this sword can only confront PABs and reflect their powers. Do you know what PAB means?
What does that mean?
Pussy ass bitches. So if that's appearing shiny to you, this is not even coming from my mouth. This shit is written in the stars. From birth, you've been a pussy ass bitch. That has nothing to do with me. The sword says it all.
Girl, you want to get beat the fuck up? Don't even try that dumb shit.
And then she's instantly on go mode. And I was even thinking about the fact that she's never wielded a sword in her life. But that also makes sense because she didn't understand the weight of doing so. Which is why when he reflected her attack and blocked it, even though it cut him, she was sitting there staggered, bleeding and like petrified. And I know a lot of elements from the anime weren't in the manga. So I don't know if these like battles and like the lore behind them and these little intricate details were like as in depth in the manga as they are in the anime. There was just something about that build up with the lore and the whole family curse thing, and seeing Nanao like kind of do her detective work like early on in her youth to find out that Shunsui was the one her mother gave the sword to then now being here after they just shared that moment, and now she's like sitting here shaking, him coming out of the shadows and like guiding her. Again, I don't know, it's like, it's so beautiful. I feel like what Thousand Year Blood War has done really well just in general, not even just with their story. When they are introducing these characters' backstories and flashbacks, they tell them fairly quick, but they get straight to the point, and like all the information you need is presented to you. I don't feel like there's been one backstory up until this point where I've been like questioning like why something is the way it is. Like with Ukitake, for example. Obviously for the whole duration of the show, we are questioning what his power was, why it was the way it was, why he was always sick, like all these things, but everything was answered within that one episode where he unveiled that he is the Soul King's right fucking arm. And not only that, just like his relationship to Shunsui and how like everything, oh my gosh, it's just so good. And there was like that sad OST, but then that one, like I would call like a more so like mysterious Bleach OST, the dun 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 dun. Like every song has like the perfect placement. I don't know if I'm like bouncing on Bleach's shit right now, but like every episode it just invokes emotion, and just like the art style and animation and the perspectives, like seeing corrupted G.I. Joe start harnessing this fucking spirit bomb, and before G.I. Joe lets off his trumpet, her reminiscing and getting the flashbacks and everything and just calming down, and this new OST picking up, and the sound of the trumpet was fucking crazy with the song. I'm not even gonna lie, but looking at the damage it caused, him sliced in half, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why this was my favorite part. This shot, oh my gosh, this shot was so fucking, like, I don't know what it is about the angles, bro. I'm not joking. And then getting the zoom in on him holding the hilt of the sword and her having that shit, like, it's just like, nigga, I don't know. I don't know. This is so cold. I swear, out of all the new shows, they had the cameraman working overtime on this show, like 70-hour work weeks. And I take that back. That shot wasn't even the coldest one, because he's like, let's catch up to the others. He starts stumbling and he falls down and says, let's rest here a little bit. And I hope she's gonna give him medical aid. I hope he's like not gonna die here. I'm telling you, these title shots are gonna have him punch a fucking hole in my wall. Because look at this. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Like, they don't even have to do this. That's the thing. They don't have to do this, but it's like they get a different angle, a different like way of showing us the title every fucking episode. And it's like, you look forward to these things, how they do the title every fucking time. And if it's gonna be at the beginning and if it's gonna be at the end, like, it's never consistent, but it always makes sense for how the episode carries out. And it's like, I could whimper like a fucking dog about this shit all day, just about how he's in the O and how hard this shit is, but I'm not going to. Great episode. Great episode. As I said, it was like a little bit slower, but I mean, if Ohana's in an episode, I'm happy. And she was there. But no, all in all, good time. Merry Christmas to everyone. Or if you celebrate Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, just happy holidays in general. Have a good time with family and all that stuff. If I don't have a video out by then, but sub to the second channel, sub to this channel, sub to the podcast if you stay to this part in the video. Appreciate it. And without further ado, on to the next one.